Hi there, my name is Chris, and I hate my older brother. I really want to share the story of my family with you. You know, it's generally believed that younger children get more love. Well, in our family, there was the cult of my older brother Sam instead. When I was born, he was 3 years old. According to his photo, my brother was a charming blonde little tot. Based upon the memoirs of my mother, he was an incredibly smart and talented child who could read Shakespeare and admire the art of the 18th century since birth. Everything was not that great though. Despite the 3 years difference between us, my brother learned to read at the same time as me, and instead of bookshelves, he preferred to explore every corner of our house brandishing a wooden sword. He had much more of the dumb muscle than the average person needed. Throughout our childhood, we were good friends. Of course, he was not quite a quick thinker, but he always has been my older brother. He was my support system and even my protector. In addition, he always used to take me with him everywhere and forced other children to accept me in their games. And that was not always by humanitarian methods. Mom had to listen to the complaints of other parents for the broken noses of their children regularly. And at school, everything began to change dramatically. That age limit between me and my brother, which did not matter in our childhood, started to lean on both of us. But that was quite understandable. At the age of 15, he wanted to smoke with his friends, hiding behind the garage. I was more likely a hindrance to him as I was only 12. I couldn't accompany him during his walks with his girlfriend or the mature pranks he and his friends would pull. Besides, I haven't been that good at pranks anyway. I always liked studying, reading books, and learning something new. Sam was into boxing and kept winning championships in all sorts of competitions, which our father was super proud of. Meanwhile, I was a quiet honors student, and he couldn't talk about me with his friends. You see, there's nothing unusual when a child pores over books day and night at a time when the older son is flooring some heavyweight boxer in the ring at the age of 15. Of course, the latter is really cool. Furthermore, we were completely different not only in behavior, but also in appearance, like day and night. Sam was a typical shaven-head blonde, blue-eyed, and broad-shouldered Aryan, with perfect clothes and a Hollywood smile. All the girls, from babies to old women, were thrilled by him. I was the polar opposite of him, dark, thin, and pale. That was not to say that I was ugly, but in comparison to my brother, I looked like a sick crow. And when I fell in love, it also became another sticking point for me. I tried not to take my secretly beloved girlfriend to the places where we could meet my brother and his friends. Of course, these jacks wouldn't have heard us, but somehow I didn't want to listen to the nasty things they'd say in the presence of my beloved one. My previous experiences with girls suggested that I shouldn't introduce my girlfriend to Sam. But they inevitably met when I was doing homework with her at home, and my brother came from a workout earlier than usual. And of course, she inevitably fell in love with Sam. So because of the unhealthy competition, I started to hate my brother bit by bit. My girlfriend liking him actually became the last straw, because whenever he appeared, Sam had always been ahead of me. No matter what he did, everyone admired him, fell in love with him, made him up to be the example of a perfect person. In my opinion, my parents even idolized him. What else could you expect? He was the firstborn, the hero and the pride of my parents. Under the shadow of his superiority, my first love, victories in science competitions, scientific achievements for which I was awarded in front of the whole city, and even being summa cum laude went unnoticed. But when Sam took home another useless trophy, my parents immediately started a feast of feasts. Sam was loved, and I wasn't even noticed. But the worst thing was that Sam didn't truly understand the reasons for my resentment and discontent. He still believed that we were brothers and the closest people in the world, and he kept saying it so often that finally I felt sick of these words. He was also telling it very loudly into the public, which caused a new wave of adoration in other people and hatred in me. Why couldn't he express the love to me by actions, not by word? For all this time, he never paid attention to my successes, only sticking out his significance and my weaknesses to others. The first thing I did when I turned 17 was to move away from that madness. I went to college, moved to another city, and began to live my own life. And everything would be fine if Sam, who, by the way, never obtained a higher education, did not consider it to be his duty to come to me at the first opportunity and say that he would protect me from everything. I'm 17 years old. I have my own relatively calm and happy life, and I don't need to be protected from anything except him. I understand that on the surface, it all sounds like resentment of a child. But if you don't know what it's like to live in the shadow of your own brother, who objectively builds his life much worse than yours, but is constantly considered an example, you will not understand my hatred. I wish him the most enormous and limitless happiness, but as far as possible away from me. If you also have older brothers or sisters, write your stories in the comments. And if you're someone who's an older brother or sister yourself, then look at your life from the outside. What if you're like my brother, and you make someone unhappy under the cover of love?